You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Eternal Tournament Series. I am Gabe, also known as Calamdeer, and joining me again for the semifinals is LocoPojo.
Yeah, looks like another exciting round. We're looking at another Huru deck. Glad to see Huru back in the top 8 as well. And we got ourselves with a Xenon mid-range as well. So two, I think, somewhat underrepresented factions that are already making it to the semis, and one of them is going to go on to the finals. Who's that going to be? Hard to say, but I don't know. I got... going to be an interesting matchup. We have Unseen Aggro with Lita most skilled and Sheltering Rider on Autrek's side, Huru Pacifier and Unseen Commando as well, Kothan and Paladin Oathbook, a little bit of Crownwatch Paladin and Darkveil Agent, lots and lots of fun stuff there. And then second blue is running the Ian Dawnwalker Lunar and Sandstorm setup that capping out at 4 lists that we saw earlier, which I'm a big fan of. I really like both of these lists.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of both these lists. I've been having a lot of success on ladder personally lately, playing a Huru list featuring like Eager Owlet and Tinker Overseer, stuff like that. However, this list is more focused on the unseen synergy with that Lita the most skilled Darkveil Agent Kothan package there. And Darkveil Agent is such a cool card with Sheltering Rider.
Yeah, it can be really exciting. I'm still not sure about Darkveil Agent. I like it. Okay, it is a solid card. The fact that it doesn't have any sort of effect until the end of turn or still the start of the next turn has always been a little bit of a sticking point for me. But I think it's actually very strong in most unseen lists, and there's nothing wrong with a 2/2 for 2 with a really good upside. So yeah, it works very well with most of these cards, and I'm actually kind of favoring the Huru deck here as far as looking at what we're looking at.
I'm excited for Darkveil Agent to give Huru Pacifier the unseen bird Aegis, right? That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it'll prevent all the weapons, but there ain't no weapons in Xenon mid-range. So we'll see if there's actually... I think that that Xenon matchup is maybe the worst matchup for a 3/4 card like that. Sandstorm Titan is already a pretty good answer. The Xenon deck does have some life gain, and it's already capable of playing a lot of threats that can actually proactively deal with flyers because of Xenon Initiation and any other sort of setups there. So we'll see. I think if it gets into a ground race, then Xenon midrange is not terribly favored, but cards like Obelisk and cards like Xenon Initiation can really turn the tide in that race.
Yeah, I'm going to favor, as you know, the players get into the match here, I think that Xenon is favored only because of the inclusion of 4 Blister Sting Wasps and 4 Xenon Initiation. I think it's just going to, and 4 Various Choice. I think there's just too many ways that Xenon can actually interact with the Huru deck. Like Aegis gets a lot less value against Deadly and Killer. When there's Sandstorm Titan and Dark Return and Blister Sting Wasp, it's the flying loses a lot of value. So I think that Xenon's just going to have the more powerful units on the board, and Autrek's just not going to be able to do what their deck wants to do.
Yeah, I kind of am in agreement on that part, at least. Like, I think the Huru deck is probably reasonably strong against most Xenon lists, but I don't know. There's something about Second Blue's deck construction that just really appeals to me, and I think that it's so reliable and so quick that it actually kind of functions as a lower-end aggro deck that it happens to be much less vulnerable to cards like Hailstorm. So we will see if it is going to be going for the win here. I think it's a solid pick for the deck, and we will see if Autrek can take it back.
Yeah, so both players send back their hands. Autrek with a reasonable start, 2 drops to play. Doesn't have anything to play after that. Needs to draw a 3rd power. There it is, Common Cause. Common Cause really interesting. I don't know how many unseen they have. Didn't notice that in the main deck. So Common Cause here for Autrek. They have pretty high influence requirements. They need double primal, double justice. All right, they can manage that with
Common Cause is super easy for it. Like, there's a lot of good stuff here. Sheltering Rider is actually an unseen bird, so that alone gives you that overall edge. You got plenty of unseen. You got Lita most skilled, and the other card, the 3/4 for 3, the Huru Pacifier, is also an unseen bird. So almost all of his cards are actually unseen.
Yeah. So second blue playing out some crests there, getting some sweet fire influence just to get that scout value. And here comes the first Sandstorm Titan.
Yeah, he's got the early game pretty sealed up. But the problem here is that aReNGee has access to Vanquish. He's got access to Finest Hour. He's totally fine attacking with either. And with the Finest Hour, he's pretty comfy just swinging. If the Sandstorm Titan's not going to block, he could Vanquish here, or he could just set up the Dark Veil Agent and feel pretty content.
Yeah, right now it looks like aReNGee is winning this game just because of the huge tempo advantage he has, getting to start playing threats earlier and then having efficient answers. But Lunar Magus is actually going to give Second Blue, a real amount of life. Xena Initiation is going to take back a lot of that tempo here, and Vanquish doesn't come out till next turn.
I don't like that Xena Initiation at all. aReNGee was clearly indicating Finest Hour here, and now Second Blue has put his Xena Initiation not on the Sandstorm Titan, but on the Lunar Magus, which makes it into a 4/5, makes it vanquishable, and there's no good attack here. Like, he doesn't actually get to hit anything. He's actually done it before combat tricks, so aReNGee has better chances to respond, and yeah, I don't know. I'm really not a fan of that play.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting line. I think the upside he was going for was attack something or being able to killer one unit and then also attack with Sandstorm Titan, so getting in more damage this turn, but ended up not working out that way. And now this Unseen Commander has Aegis.
Yeah, considering he didn't actually attack with a 4/5 at all, I wonder if he just missed. Like, it's interesting. Like, he has some blocks now that aren't great. He can just block with the 4/5, and that's fine because if it gets Finest Houred out, that's okay. He'll still have Sandstorm Titan next turn, and he's keeping his Sandstorm Titan alive. But aReNGee has the Vanquish. He's probably going to kill the Sandstorm Titan at some point soon, and once that happens, like, there's no good particular answer.
Yeah, aReNGee, though, critically not having a second primal, so can't play any of the cards in his hand besides Finest Hour.
Yeah, so we see a 3/4 and a 2/2 swinging in for 5. The 2/2 gets blocked pretty obviously. There could be a Finest Hour here, but I don't think Second Blue's too unhappy about that. Just loses out on some damage, loses his dude, and now he has to play another 5/5.
I wouldn't say he's happy about it, right? He put Killer on that unit, and then he just got it killed by a Finest Hour. That's pretty bad. But Blister Sting Wasp, very good here.
Yeah, it kills the Unseen Commando, or it kills the Dark Veil Agent. Either option is pretty good.
Still like no primal for aReNGee.
Yeah, I like this deck a lot. There's a lot of good things going on in it. We've been playing some like interesting Unseen aggro stuff lately with hella cool cards. They have all of the battle skills now, so you can actually use that ridiculous card, Avenge the Fallen, or oh man, I don't remember the Acardia card.
Oh gosh.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about the battle skill one?
Yeah, the battle skill one. Okay, we see Finest Hour on the Unseen. Honor the Fallen. That's it.
Okay. So yeah, that Blister Sting Wasp going to trade for Dark Veil Agent, and another Aegis threat comes down.
Yeah, Second Blue's stable here. Like, the Lunar Maguses are really helping him with the overall race, but aReNGee has killer units too, and Lita, most skilled, happens to trade really well with this 3/4. So
yeah, it's going to deal 5 damage here, right?
Yeah, it's got that overwhelm.
Wow. Yeah, that was sweet.
That's pretty bad stuff for Second Blue. He's caught off guard. He's caught unawares. He gets the Devour value, which is actually pretty key, but now he's sitting on Reinarch and Blister Sting.
He just played a 5/6 charge in Huru. That was pretty powerful.
Yeah. Pretty sick stuff. Lita is actually a fairly good card with the other cards that are currently being run. So I think it works out really well, and the ability to go up to 5 power is actually really cool because it means that he can deal with a couple of the mid-range threats that are really common right now. Yeah, I think this is a fairly powerful deck, and it has some good consideration for what the current meta is.
Yeah, and there's just so many flying threats coming down now that Second Blue can't keep up anymore. Devour loses a lot of value when your main way of getting 1-for-1s is trading in combat. Devour is much better when you're trading for removal spells, and you get to just be like, all right, whatever. Devour is a 2 power, draw 2, gain 2 life. That's fine. But it's not that right now.
Okay, looks like he does have a good option here. He gets Vara's favor on the 5/5. That takes that out.
Still dead because
Initiation kills Lita, and then the Gem Blade. Yeah, the Gem Blade is probably going to be lethal. He'll have to Devour for the extra health to stay alive, but I think there's no way he doesn't Xena Initiation here. And if he wants to, he could even kill Shelterwing Rider if he's really worried about it. But I think that, yeah, probably take the lethal that you know over the lethal you don't.
Well, no, if he kills Sheltering Rider, he just dies because then he doesn't have a blocker.
Yeah, I mean, he can devour either way.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, Vara's Choice. Very good pickup there. That actually gets rid of the Sheltering Rider and takes the weapon off of it. Also means that it never gets to attack him again by getting an Aegis off of Protect or something crazy.
Wow. Okay, so this was huge because he can block this Sheltering Rider and he can silence Kothon. Well, is he going to silence Kothon?
He can silence Kothon, or he can ignore Kothon and silence the Sheltering Rider. Either option's pretty good. I think he passed turn, though.
I think you silence Kothon. I think you just... I mean, I don't know. I guess you could silence Sheltering Rider and get rid of the Gemblade. So that's fair, too. I guess the Gemblade is also a 4/4, and it's already on the board, whereas the Owl you have to pay 6/4.
There's a lot of problems here, and second blue can deal with the Owl slightly better than he can deal with the Sheltering Rider. There is a second Sheltering Rider on the way. aReNGee is also looking to play those Owls, so he's got to make some decisions here.
Yeah, once this... second blue is on a limited time here. He has until aReNGee finds an answer for the Sandstorm Titan to put himself back into the game here.
Oh, this is good for second blue. Devour really works well with the Temple Scribes.
Yep.
He's going to take a point of damage, and then he's going to gain 3, which puts him into a more stable position against Owls. He's got good answers to the current Owls, and basically the only thing that kills him here is a Vanquish, which didn't show up. Valkyrie Enforcer also
pretty wide, though, with a second Kothon,
mm-hmm.
And then an Unseen Commando, so you can activate this first Kothon, play an... Okay, or not. Okay, well, this lets him attack into Sandstorm Titan, which is also really powerful.
Yep. Second blue wants to devour with the Temple Scribe, though, so he's already okay with chump blocking here. And that saves him 6 life, gains him 2 more, and now he's got another Vara's Choice to access, which he can use on one of the Kothons to sort of knock out some of this like long-range stuff that's happening.
Wow, Ion is also huge here. This one Sandstorm Titan is just completely keeping second blue in the game.
Yeah, it is a very nasty card against Huru Flyers. You have to have good answers to it. A lot of the decks that I run basically just have to run like 4 Vanquishes, some Valkyrie Enforcers, and some Polymorphs to make sure that you get past this card, because it is crazy common, and it's a hard one to deal with. But I think there was a little bit of cheating around it on this one. There's only 3 Vanquishes, there's no Polymorphs, no Silences, and only 4 Valkyrie Enforcers. So he's got most of the tools that he needs.
Yeah, I mean, he's also can just go wider than it. Eventually, he also has units that aren't in the air. Like aReNGee's deck is not completely flying focused, so I understand that the 3 Vanquish here. He's also got 4 Finest Hours, so he's just got a lot of ways to get through.
Yeah, the Finest Hours are the big clincher. He does have enough answers for this card. He's just not seeing them. That is a very bad idea, I think. Second blue is attacking with his 5/6, and never mind.
Yeah, there's no block available for aReNGee.
Yeah, the 5/5 is exhausted. That's true. So yeah, cannot actually push in. But if there were like a Finest Hour, I probably wouldn't want to find out about it that turn.
Yeah, tell me about it. So aReNGee, what did he get here? He drew another Lita, which is not bad. Can take care of Lunar Magus to sort of stop second blue from getting any more life. Potentially can also be played post combat to kill this Titan after whatever it blocks.
Second blue is taking some interesting lines here. He's ditched the Unseen Commando because he's more worried about things being bigger than Sandstorm Titan than wider than Sandstorm Titan. He's got a little bit of life gain here, so he's fine with most attacks. aReNGee is sitting on a potential Finest Hour or threatening at least Alita Most Skilled, and that means that second blue is going to have to choose a block like Auric Interrogator or Lunar Magus, and he actually chooses both because that's the answer to Finest Hour.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's a good block. I think aReNGee needed to attack with more units to make this work, but that would have just resulted in too many lost units.
Yeah.
And this Ion is really huge as well. Potentially could have played that, but he wanted to make this ultimate happen right here. And wow, another Titan. That is going to start putting this game really out of reach for aReNGee.
Yeah, I think second blue's at an impasse here because he needs to play the Titan, but he also really wants that activation off of Ion. I think it's way too ambitious to avoid it. Like, there is 9 damage on the field. It's not flying damage, so it'd be something like, no, there is 9 damage in flying if you activate the Kothan. So I think he's got to actually consider playing Titan here as opposed to activating Ion. But he could lose something to his silence.
I think playing Titan here is just fine. There's just a huge chance that you draw like just a power next turn or anything that costs 2 or less, and you just activate Ion anyway.
These decks are so well constructed and they're so well matched against each other. I'm really happy with how this is working out. aReNGee gets his Paladin Oathbook, which means that he now is holding some 6/6s here. He's still getting the effect off of the Crown Watch commando that he really wanted to. And this Oathbook is actually being exactly what he wanted it to be.
Yeah, so he gets to take care of one of these Titans, actually.
Yep.
And he's closer to victory, but still pretty far thanks to his Ion gaining 3 life and this second Titan.
I love that block. He put the Ion in there. This is like an AI move that you'll see the AI do sometimes, and you'll almost never see normal players do it, where they offer up a small lifesteal unit because they know you're not going to take it, and they know that they get the extra lifesteal, and that's like actually really good for stabilizing.
Yeah. No, you do that all the time.
It's good stuff. So now we see the Ion getting a little bit of a bonus out, and Dawnwalker's ready to rock and roll. This is such a good fight. This is such a good board state. There's a lot of things going right here.
Yeah, this match has been long. This is a interesting matchup with a lot of back and forth.
All right. aReNGee finds another Kothan, which gives him yet more opportunities to go wide with Owls. Second Blue's sitting on not a lot of life, but he does have Lunar Magus, so he's going to find a little bit more ways to stabilize. He's got enough life gain, just enough life gain to stay alive in these matchups, and how well that's going to work for him in the future is a little bit tricky. I think the main problem here is that he just doesn't have enough proactivity, and he's not capable of dealing with this board as it gets wider and wider and wider. Oh, another Vara's choice down. So it's not dealing with the overall threats. I think it actually doesn't get anything here. He can delay, but he may need to actually sit on that and find something better for it.
Yeah, so we're now in a full-on board stall here where neither player can really attack.
Second Blue can push with his 9/9 if he chooses to, but it's not likely to get a very good trade.
Yeah,
It'll trade for 2
everything's
units.
Very, very little ground to be gained. So the big board stall breakers here are Xenon Obelisk from Second Blue side. That just turns the matchup on its head. From aReNGee side, Vanquish obviously takes care of that Titan. Which they've got, I think, still 3 copies left. No, 2 copies left.
I think I like Second Blue attacking with this 9/9 at this point. The board's pretty even, and trading 2 for 1 could actually get him a pretty significant bonus. He finds a Dark Return, which means he can pick up another Sandstorm Titan. That means that he is no longer bound by a Vanquish top deck.
Or a Valkyrie Enforcer, I was going to say, is the other one. So aReNGee needs 2 cards, but he's got more of them.
Oh, this is also a good pickup. Auric Interrogator draws him cards and starts to get him to a point where he can trade more freely.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little concerned, though. It's been a long time since we've seen aReNGee draw a Vanquish or a Valkyrie Enforcer.
There's got to be one due at some point, and when that happens, Second Blue's going to be in trouble. He could do like a little bit of silence work and try to knock some of these flyers out of the air, but there's almost enough to kill him right now. He's got 8, 10, 11, plus the... I think there is actually lethal on the board. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 exact in flyers. So a Vanquish or a silence still wins the game. Second Blue is trying to pick up a few more answers and maybe secure that extra stuff, but he's basically just using Auric Interrogator to do it. So he's got to consider using Vara's choice this turn.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what he does, but we're really looking to see who draws the board breaker first. I mean, Obelisk, like I said, 4 in the deck for Second Blue, breaks the game wide open. From aReNGee's side, we have more cards, but Second Blue gets to draw 2 cards a turn. So this is getting really close.
Second Blue can play his other Auric Interrogator here to get another blocker. If he chooses to do that, he's okay. He's kind of bleeding down here, so like he's still very dead to a Vanquish or any sort of effect like that. 16 health off of the Lunar Magus. The more Nightfall he triggers, the better off he is. Crest of Impulse means he can look and see another Sandstorm Titan. That is a card that he really, really needs right now. And I really want him to throw that Varus choice because he's got to see lethal on the line, right? There's actually, it is one short of lethal, but there's night falling right now. So if aReNGee picks up a Valkyrie and Enforcer or a Vanquish, like this is the turn where things could go bad for second blue or things could go great for him.
Yeah, I mean every draw step is so important right now.
Mm-hmm. And aReNGee's getting 2 cards this turn, so like I feel like you have to Varus choice something. Just slow him down a little bit. You're so close to stabilizing. Varus choice isn't doing much like on your opponent's hand, so I'm not sure why you want to save it beyond like maybe picking up a Kothan. Yeah, there it is. Okay, good. All right, he picks up the Overwhelm unit, which isn't the flying lethal that I'm most worried about, but potentially could get him somewhere.
Wow, this combat math is so close. I think second blue just gained enough life off that Lunar Magus that he can actually start making profitable attacks. Having the Dawnwalkers to trade in is just super valuable in this position.
I think he's fine against Vanquish or Valkyrie Enforcer because he does have the Blister Sting Wasps,
Yep.
and those are stalling enough flyers that he's fine.
And there's another Titan. So now aReNGee just needs so many cards to even to pull out a win that I don't think it's going to happen because second blue just will inevitably win this board stall. He's just got the bigger units, so if he just like attacks in, eventually aReNGee won't have profitable blocks anymore.
Yeah, drawing 2 cards a turn is a very big deal. aReNGee needed to pick up Vanquish or Valkyrie Enforcer and just didn't find it. So
yeah, for quite a few turns. But I mean, you know, neither second blue didn't find Obelisk either. So
yeah, Obelisk would have been also quite crucial, and every Sandstorm Titan or Dark Return is also really helping blue out. So yeah, now we're looking at basically just Titan into Titan, lots of Dawnwalkers hacking in. The 9/9s and the 5/5s are potentially getting sacrificed unless second blue has like Disjunction or something that he wants to play. Yeah, he's still holding on to that 9/9. So
yeah, so even though second blue should win this game, there should not be a way for him to really lose this game. He still has to very carefully play through all of this combat, or he won't get there. So we'll see how that works out. I would like to remind everybody this is game 1 of this series. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's looking pretty crazy. I think that overall we have a very, very solid win for second blue in the future. I can't see what aReNGee can pull here that's going to pull him through. We can take a look at his list and see if there's any particular answer. He's got Hammeromite to push bigger stuff, but he doesn't have any big finisher like Crystallize that's going to basically end this game for him. I think aReNGee is out, and he might just not know it yet.
Yeah, I know. I think as long as both players play completely correctly, or even close to it, second blue can't lose this game. There's no cards that aReNGee can draw anymore that really affect the board state in any meaningful way.
He can top deck like 3 Vanquishes in a row, maybe kill the Auric Interrogator. There's Dark Returns though.
Yeah, that, and he also has already played a Vanquish, so he's only got. He'd have to draw all his Valkyrie Enforcers, and you have to draw all 4 Valkyrie Enforcers and a Vanquish in a row.
Pretty much, like he's okay attacking into some of these Blister Sting Wasps.
And now with the Dark Return, like he has to draw all of his Valkyrie Enforcers and both Vanquishes. And
it's a rough spot for sure.
It's just absurd.
All right, Temple Scribe here, and we see a lot of sacrifices.
Okay,
second blue picking up some more Varus choices.
Wait, okay, hold on. There is a path to victory for aReNGee. If second blue can't find attacks, if he can't find... actually, that won't work. I was going to say second blue is much closer to decking, but if he decks, it's because he found his obelisks, and once he finds his obelisks, he can just attack. So
yeah, second blue can hold on to some killer units here. If he wants to pick them up out of his void, he's got, I think, a Lunar Magus and a couple of other things that have killer if he wants to start trying to simplify this board state a little bit. But he might just be comfy sitting here.
Yeah, I mean, there's some attacks he can make just to chip away. He can attack with these Dawnwalkers basically every turn.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They don't stand up well against the 4/5 and the 0/5, so there's not a lot of reason to attack with them yet. Yeah. But it will be soon.
Yeah, if the Lita wasn't there, it'd be worth it. But and there's Obelisk. All right, so that's gonna be. Oh well, there's a Valkyrie Enforcer, but it's too little too late.
Yeah, I'm almost in for silencing the Auric Interrogator at this point, although maybe you're waiting for second blue to bleed himself down. A
Yeah.
2/6/3 is coming in. This now is very untenable. He doesn't have good ways to answer these cards, and they are really devastating.
Yeah, so second blue does have to figure out attacks here. There are mistakes to be made, but I think as long as he plays it safe, there's just no way to lose.
Yeah, I'm frankly astounded that second blue has pulled like so few Xenon obelisks or anything along those lines. He's gotten
Oh,
just a
don't worry.
pile of
We're
threats in
about to
all of his different
draw
colors.
all 3 of the rest of them. Just you wait.
Yep. Yeah, this is gonna get pretty rough now. Atrek is probably certainly dead, but man, what a crazy fight up to this point.
Yeah, second blue just can't keep all his units on the board. He's got too many.
Yep. Sacrificing Dawnwalkers to Dawnwalkers potentially. Temple Scribes going into the void. Lots and lots of damage. Drawing very slowly
And
out.
there's another obelisk. Okay.
Yeah, second blue does have 13 cards in deck, so he has to win in the next, 6 or 7 turns.
I think he'll be just fine.
Yeah, second obelisk is going to do it for him, I think.
Yep.
Atrek giving
be
the second blue a little bit of life, just killing off some stuff, trying to get some blockers down. There's too many overwhelm units.
Yep.
There's obelisk number 3.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if he drew the 3rd obelisk. We're just so deep into his deck.
All right, is there a bad tilt for second blue? If he just ace spaces here, can he lose? I don't think so, but
almost every single unit is lethal. 3 of them have overwhelm.
And he's got the Dark Return, plus he's got Dawnwalkers and Interrogators. Yeah, I don't think there's any way that ace space is wrong.
I'm way too tired to do this math, but I'm pretty sure it's over.
So is second blue. He just goes straight in, and there you go. Atrek is down for the count. 1-0. We got 4 more rounds of this, assuming that these decks are continually evenly matched.
I think Sideboard is going to streamline this matchup a little bit.
Yeah, it could potentially.
The Carnosaurs, the Banishes and the Annihilates are going to make this matchup going to allow second blue to be a lot more aggressive. The Carnosaurs are going to shut down the game much more quickly. And I think on the other side, they
don't get to board until after game 2.
Yeah, we have to watch another. We have to watch another no sideboard game here. But once we get to sideboard, I think that it just gets better for the Xenon deck.
Yeah. I accidentally checked in on Suckleg and Serb, and a lot of Sursos battling back and forth. We'll see if we can get into this next game with the second blue. And
so second blue has to toss back a hand of Crest of Impulse and no shadow sources. This time only 2 power again, but does have a shadow source in addition to a Crest of Impulse.
Yeah, second blue's hand looks pretty good. He's got the Titan, which is one of the key cards here. He's got Blister Sting Wasp and Dawnwalker. A lot of good things here. Needs that 3rd power, picked it up. Needs double time. That's going to be harder to find. Oh, there it is. Not that hard to find.
Yep.
All right, so Shadow into Vara's favor into Dawnwalker. Second blue's set for the next couple of turns. He's got a very, very simple path to play.
On the other side, Atrek needs to draw 3rd power and fast.
He's got Common Cause to pick up some influence, but he'd much rather have Seats and Banners because he needs to get both double green and double blue, and he's only got 1 green so far. So if he picks up the wrong kind of power, that could also hurt him. But I think for the most part, he's just going to secure double justice. He's got his 2 and his 3 lined up as long as he finds the 3rd power. Now he's got his 2 lined up as long as he finds the 3rd power.
Atrek going to get this Kothon down on turn 2 here. Second blue probably just going to play Blister Sting or Vera's favor just to develop power. And then we're going to potentially see Dawnwalker or Sandstorm Titan come down if second blue can find that crucial second time influence.
Yep. Yeah. So we're looking at I'm favoring second blue for this particular round. I think there's just a lot of good stuff in his hand.
Yeah, I'm thinking second blue is just a very favorite in this matchup. I mean, not because of I'm not letting game 1 get to me too much, but I just for all the reasons I said before we got into the match, I just think there's too many recursive threats that aReNGee just has to deal with
Yeah,
for
aReNGee
for him to
cannot
get
take the
through.
late game. He has to take the early game with flyers, and that means he has to beat his way through Lunar Magus, Temple Scribe, and I Am the Abductor life gain.
Yeah,
All of which
and
are a
more
little bit tricky.
importantly, Blister Sting and Sandstorm Titan just make that almost impossible with Dark Return.
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of delightful, fun stuff, and we'll see exactly who ends up with the money here. Let's see, we got Common Cause there for blue. Kothan looking at a 2-3, not too bad, and Seed of Mystery for second blue, picking up power 5.
Yeah, so there's that second time influence.
Or power 4.
We still need aReNGee to draw some power, but having a nice clean answer to Blister Sting Wasp early is good, especially when meaning that it can't get Dark Returned. However, remember, second blue was running Devour in his deck, so that can still come up, and then we'll see more Blister Stings come out with this Dark Return.
Yeah, second blue has like a super reliable deck with a lot of super reliable cards. He's never not going to be playing a card on his turn, and that is really critical because it means that like aReNGee is going to have a lot harder time pushing through and taking the early game. He just like it's hard to beat these flyers if your opponent's playing a threat every turn that you have to actually deal with. Case in point, Finest Hour here gonna be answered by Sandstorm Titan in the very near future.
Yeah, and that Dawnwalker, trading for Finest Hour is really good value because you're gonna get that Dawnwalker back eventually.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why aReNGee took that attack. He has to kill the Dawnwalker, I suppose, but that's pretty low percentage.
Well, I think I didn't like that because it means that he didn't get to, when you're that tight on power, you just wanted to get your 2 drops out.
Yeah, so second blue looking at his Sandstorm Titans, his Xenon Initiations are looking solid. I think this is pretty solid stuff, and hopefully we'll see a little bit more of this.
So no Vanquish for aReNGee, and he's stumped by this Sandstorm Titan again. He does have a lot of power on the board, though.
Yeah, we have Xenon Initiation, Vara's Choice. There's a pretty decent amount of stuff here, and it's all looking pretty good. We see Xenon Initiation is throwing up the horns for Sandstorm Titan, which then gets to just kill whatever it wants. He's still got Vara's Choice. He's still got the Devour. He can actually throw both of them if he wants to here, and he can knock Lita, most skilled, out of the field, which definitely puts aReNGee in a bad position.
Yeah, so Vara's Choice gets to take care of that Lita, and gets to see the second Lita. That's huge information for second blue.
Yeah, I think second blue is super happy most of the time because he knows what aReNGee's hand normally looks like, and he knows that it's mostly units. There's very few removal cards, and those removal cards are almost always going for Sandstorm Titan. He's much more comfy using Vara's Choice in the optimal mode, which is to throw cards out of hand. That's always a risk with Vara's Choice, and it's not the thing you want to do all of the time, but it's just fine here, and it actually answers pretty well.
This is okay. That's what I thought. I was
gonna say, like,
there's no way he's killing the Titan. He wants the trade here.
Yeah, he wants the trade, and then he gets to Dark Return it back. It's still got Killer. This is critical. Second blue is way far ahead, and I'm actually a little surprised that he didn't just Dark Return Sandstorm Titan and go for it.
It's because he wants to get back both Dawnwalkers now that he finally has that 4th time influence.
Yep, he can Vara's favor the Aegis off this 2-1, but there's no point.
Who needs to? He's got Dawnwalkers.
Yeah, exactly. He's in really good shape. This is a much more definitive round, and definitely showing that second blue has got a lot going on here.
Yep, and this Sandstorm Titan has Killer, which is just obscene.
Yeah, no. It's a well-constructed list. It's got super, like, I think second blue's main strength to this list is that it is just so reliable. Like, it is always going to get exactly what it wants, which is a big pile of threats. Even in the situations where he wasn't getting exactly the threats he needed, he was still able to stall the board and force the flyers to not attack in. Like, the aReNGee deck can definitely sneak a win over the head of any sort of deck, but it's much harder to get that reliability out. He doesn't have the same level of like early threats. He's got some 5-drops that he really cares about that are also a little bit unreliable in what they can pick up. Like, he's going to have a hard time picking 3 more wins out of these next 3 games.
Yeah, I think it gets even better for second blue post board. I think he's just got the better removal post board, and you can cut some of the some of the fat out. I mean, sure, the Huru deck gets a little better as well, but not as much as the Xena deck. And I mean, not to say. By the way, I would like to say this Huru deck is in top 8 it's in top 2, or excuse me, top 4
Oh
for a
yeah,
reason. It's very good.
insanely strong. I think it's got a couple of particular weaknesses against the Xenon deck. I've definitely turned around on saying it's favored.
Yeah. Lena Most Skilled is sweet in this deck, right? We saw how powerful Lena Most Skilled was with Unseen Commando, just
Oh yeah,
5/6, like that's almost one less cost for a Carnosaur. I mean, obviously 5 is quite a bit different than 6 because that kills Titan, but you know, very powerful, not to be underestimated, and against a more controlling field, which is what we saw a lot of today. Dark Veil Agents, Crown Watch Paladin, Snowcrest Yeti, all these cards are super powerful against that, and that's probably why we've seen multiple Shelterwing Rider decks here in the top 8, and we see this deck here.
yeah. I think Autrek's got a really, really solid list. I'm not sure if he needs the Snowcrest Yetis for these tournament setups, and those are probably the cards that are going to be most quick to cut out against the mid-rangey style. He's got Vanquish and Idlin's Choice in his side. I think both of those are coming in against the killer everything. He has Auric Runehammers, which are a little bit less effective, but can be used to pick up certain things. And he has Permafrosts and Reinvigorates, both of which are okay tricks that can potentially push across a little bit of extra damage. He's already on 3 Permafrost, so going up to 4 wouldn't hurt too much, but he's still got problems with Sandstorm Titans, and I'm not sure that the extra Vanquish is solving them.
Yeah.
On
the banishes are just so good from Second Blue's site. The vanishes and the annihilates are just so efficient that anything that the Huru deck is bringing in is just not as good.
Yeah, I think Second Blue's entire removal suite is just incredibly well geared towards Huru. He has Annihilate, which kills almost everything in the deck with the exception of Shelterwing Riders. Probably the least likely card to come in. He has Banish, which kills almost everything in the Huru deck. He has Extract, which kills Crown Watch Commandos, and that is by far the most important thing. It also kills Valkyries, and the life that it gains is definitely not a small thing. He's got In Cold Blood, which just hates Justice cards, so that's pretty fine. And Predatory Carnosaur, I think, is even more likely than In Cold Blood to come in. It's just a really solid card that kills flyers and leaves the board even scarier and forces the flyers into very, very bad situations.
Yep. Predatory, yeah, like you said, Predator Carnosaur is just so good as well. I forgot to mention that as well. When I play Huru a lot of the time, yeah, I feel very favored against time decks unless I get stumped by a Titan long enough that Carnosaur start coming down, because that's just something you can't come back from.
Yeah, it's a really tough time, and Second Blue is probably looking real happy with his current sideboard. There were just way too many good choices. I don't know if there's anything like he could do that's absolutely wrong here. He could keep his current deck and probably still be reasonably certain that he could achieve a victory out of 3 games.
So it looks like we're back into game 3 here, and both players have finished sideboarding. Opening hands look pretty good for both players, to be honest with you. Autrek has a nice 3-power hand with 2 drops into Unseen Commando, which is gonna give let Kothon attack for. Oh, never mind. Kothon only has 1 battle skill to start. Excuse me.
Second Blue's hand is a little bit on the weaker side for him. He doesn't get to play that early Dawnwalker that's so critical for just like basically putting pressure onto the Huru deck. This means that Autrek actually gets an opportunity to attack in and try and force Second Blue down to the position where he actually starts playing reactively. If Second Blue can seize control of the board and he doesn't seize, if he doesn't seize control of the board too early, then there's the possibility that Autrek just wins these games on the value of his flyers.
Yeah, Autrek might actually win this game here. He is on the play. He's going to get down he's ahead on board. Second Blue is not great at catching up unless he gets into a nice stall there.
He has Ion's a big deal.
Yeah, he has Xenon Obelisk in his hand, which is a very low tempo card. And there's the Lita that he's going to have to deal with.
What a bad situation for Autrek. He's got to know the Ions there. And I don't think he has any choice but to attack into it. He's got the Finest Hour at least, so he's fine there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't see that he drew the Finest Hour. He's totally fine.
He doesn't get to play Lita, but I mean that's fine. You didn't have anything to kill this turn anyway.
Yeah, it's a very good exchange for him. So he now has the opportunity to second blue can Obelisk or Dawnwalker. Neither option is particularly amazing, but Dark returning the IN is, oof, that's a jerk move, but it certainly does prevent Autrek from attacking in again.
Yeah, I like that move a lot. I also don't mind playing Interrogator, so you can potentially Dark Return it and start drawing cards off of it. But gaining the life here, he knows that he's going to win the late game. So just wants to stall out as much as possible, and Ion is the best at doing that. Forces Autrek to activate that Kothon and start attacking in the air to get around this Ion.
Yeah, I think if Autrek does a block here against an attacking Ion, it's probably going to be like the Flying Kothan and the 2/2, because he wants to keep the other Kothan, and I'm not sure he wants to block with his Owl.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. And he does need to get this Ion off the board, which second blue is probably going to use to his advantage and bring back a 5/5 Ion, which is going to start causing real problems. He's going to be gaining enough life that he's going to have time to draw this second time sigil.
Yep, yeah, we see this exchange here. Autrek's going to be able to play another Owl, and then that Owl will trade with an Ion, and then the next thing will trade with an Ion. There's just a lot of Ion here.
Yeah,
second blue's slowly stabilizing just off the back of this one single legendary.
Yep, this is really well played by second blue so far.
Yep, we see an attack for 4 and an attack for 2. Ion's going to pop down again, and then it'll be yet another exchange. If second blue can pick up like a banish at some point in this exchange, he's going to be in even better shape. And at the moment, Obelisk means that he trades 2 for 2 with the 4/4 and the 2/2, or he trades with just a Kothan and an Owl. Oh, Autrek not even bothering to answer it. He's got the Island's choice. He knows that the Ion's like fine, so he's just going to attack in and push as much damage as possible, try to win this in the air.
Yeah, I think that's the right play, and that's going to put second blue, I think, out of the game if he goes for this attack, just because he's not going to gain any life, and that'll be lethal coming back at him.
Yeah, especially if he backs it up with an Obelisk or does something fairly off the charts. He's not attacking into the fairly obvious Island's choice. It's a good move, but he's still
also into the double block.
It's a double block, but I don't think he hears about the double block. That just gets more material off the board for him. Okay, so now we've got an overwhelmed killer. Oh, he is attacking into the islands. That's probably not good for him. We've got an island killer plus a bunch of flyers. That's 2 plus 10.
He's not dead. He's alive at I believe 3.
Yeah.
Or
he goes down to 1 life if Lita kills something.
Oh yeah, Lita. I was like thinking Lita can just get blocked by Dawnwalker, but obviously Lita has Overwhelm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he won't be able to play like an activated Auric Interrogator. Lita kills the Temple Scribe, about what you'd expect. There's 12 damage in the air. Second blue can't gain life fast enough here. He certainly can't Dark Return Ion this turn. Blistersting Wasp helps, and he's got Devour as well, so he could... But he can't block an Overwhelm unit. I think he's dead here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's just dead here. He can gain 2 life off of Devour. Even if he could play Blistersting Wasp, Auric Interrogator, and Devour, I still think he would be dead, and he can't even play all those cards.
Yeah, this is the sweeping aggro potential of the Huru deck that we were mentioning previously. Autrek has to reliably pull this off every game, but if he can do it, he's got a chance to win. I don't think that he's completely disfavored here, but I think that it is pretty tricky to get the next 2, especially with the consistency that we've seen out of second blue's deck.
Yeah, I think being on the play really helped Autrek there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is a deck that wants to go first for sure against the mid-rangey style. Yeah, against anything with a Sandstorm Titan.
It looks like players are back in for game 4. They're ready for action. Second blue quickly throwing back a hand of not enough power and finding quite a lot of power, probably way too much.
Yeah, well, sometimes you get a little bit flooded. This is actually, yeah, this is mostly okay. He's got Lunar Magus to get himself a little bit stable. As long as he doesn't flood in power in the next couple of draws, he'll probably be fine. I
did not notice the Nostrix Lord of Visions in the sideboard. There's 4 of them.
Yeah.
I don't even know if this is the matchup for it, but here he is.
Yeah, it does answer killer effects very well. Just means that you have like really, really big flyers that are bigger than your opponent's stuff. So I think there's some potential value in that.
I think after that game one, Autrak might be thinking that Nostrix gives him a chance to get through those board stalls, which it does. It's just that that only happened because Second Blue didn't draw Obelisk for so long.
Yeah, we see a Vara's Choice thrown on Autrak. It gets rid of the Valkyrie Enforcer, which is both an answer to Sandstorm Titan and the next aggressive threat that Autrek's going to be playing. Missing a step is a problem here, and Kothan's not solving that problem, especially with a Banish in the field. Second Blue can either play the Lunar Magus here and try and draw some more threats, or he can just throw the Banish and feel pretty comfy with that.
I'm a pretty big fan of the Lunar Magus here.
Oh yeah,
not
development over
great removal for it on Autrek's side, so.
No, well, we see the Banish being thrown. Or at least rather, he's holding the power up, so he's clearly going to throw the Banish. He just wants to hit with something before the 2/2 Unseen gives the Kothan's Aegis. So one less Kothan in the world. Second Blue's a little happier, and then he plays Magus or Sandstorm Titan next turn.
Yeah, so the reason you play, like generally in a control deck, the rule is you play your removal before your threats, because like once you start playing your removal, you keep playing your removal, because if you start playing your threats, then the removal in their hand becomes live.
Yeah, it forces you to be reactive.
But in this scenario, I think that the only removal that Autrak could have had for Second Blue's Lunar Magus would be Permafrost, and you don't really mind that because you're still getting the 4 life.
Yeah, the other thing that was really important there was that like he was threatening an Eye on the Abductor, which means that there was no attack from the 2/2, and he effectively defended himself, perhaps even better than he would have if he had a Lunar Magus.
True, that is a much bigger factor.
Yeah, so Second Blue can still develop the Lunar Magus when he starts running out of cards, but since he's already flush on cards, he doesn't need to make his opponent draw any. And that's generally the wrong move if you're playing the sort of non-aggressive deck anyways, so he's feeling pretty comfy with his decisions. We do see Nostrix coming down, making the 2/2 into a 7/7. Who cares about what's going on in the air if you've got a 7/7 Aegis on the ground?
That's a good target with, drawing now 2, like, he kind of cast Call the Ancients.
Yeah, so Dark Veil Asian is gone to the Blister Sing Wasp. There's just no way to avoid that beyond like trying to pick up a Valkyrie Enforcer, which he's going to be throwing at the Sandstorm Titan anyways. Second Blue throwing up the Dark Returns on the Blister Sing Wasp. Oh, maybe Autrak should have waited for it. A killer Wasp is such a big deal here. That gets rid of the Nostrix Lord of Visions, and now there are just not a lot of good options for Autrak. It's looking dire. Second Temple Scribe here is pushing a little bit more life gain for Second Blue. He's got the overall setup, just basically he's got all the defense he needs. He's got good offense. Autrak doesn't have removal. The Sandstorm Titan's pushing. Blister Sing Wasp can push because Second Blue just doesn't care. Like, it is all over but for the Cryon here. Autrak is desperately trying to find one good card, but like what he needs is like a Harsh Rule, and there's nothing like that in his deck.
Yeah, basically, as you said, even removal here just doesn't do it because of the Obelisk.
Yep, we see a huge amount of value going down. Second Blue's got the Devour. Oh, Valkyrie Enforcer, a card that he definitely needed, but certainly not the card that he has. The Vara's Choice knocked it out of his hand, and now he's attacking for 2 4/4s. That stabilizes him a little bit on life total, but now he's got a chump block of 6/7 to live, so getting pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, getting to attack with the Unseen Commandos to gain the 4 life rather than just gain 2 on defense is pretty big, but I think he's still... Yeah, okay, he's alive.
The Second Blue takes the trade. I'm kind of surprised the Second Blue did take the trade, because if he devoured there, he would have been left with an opponent at 6 rather than an opponent at 10.
Yeah, he would have won the game, I think.
Yeah, I think he might still be able to. No, not quite. He can almost secure lethal off of Lunar Magus, but it's just 1 point, or like a little bit more than 1 point short.
Yeah, just it's a 3 point short, but it's
yeah, for some reason I was thinking that he'd block the 4/6, but no, the 6/7's obviously the better target. So now Autrak is kind of looking pretty grim, and down he goes. That's a 3-1 favoring Second Blue.
What a series! That first game was crazy.
Dang good games.
We even saw Autrak come back for 1 game there, but that is going to be 3-1 for for second blue there. Whew, what a
Yep.
match. And obviously, our other semifinal already finished. So we are going to just take a second and talk about our Patreon. And the Eternal Tournament Series has a Patreon. So let me just let you guys know. If you are enjoying the show and want to show your support, we do have a few ways to do that. We're Twitch partners now, so you can subscribe and cheer and stuff like that. Twitch subs get emotes and access to the quote command. We also have a Patreon. Patreon is currently our primary source of funding, so that's the way we fund our tournament prize pools. Usually our invitationals have around $250 prize pool, so that's pretty cool. And the year-end championship, we're planning to have a much larger prize pool. And at Worlds, we're trying to so at the year-end championship, we're trying to have a $3,000 prize pool. First place will get $1,000. So that's we're trying to go for that. That's our big goal. So that's really cool. And as the Patreon grows, so will all the prize pools. So if you want to see that happen, you can head over to patreon.com/aReNGee If not, don't forget to just follow the channel or just come watch all the stuff we do and things like that. We really appreciate everybody being here and checking it out. Anyways, with that, thank you for sticking around. Continue to stick around for the final round after this break.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, folks. See you next time.